This is a book review of this, The Historical Bigfoot by Chad Arment. And there's no illustrations in the book, but there are several, this pretty much covers the United States and several provinces in Canada. There are some states that have maybe one or two historical reports, and they're covered pretty quick. But then there are other states that have multiple reports, multiple newspaper reports that are covered in full. Many of these reports go back, oh gosh, many years. I would say that, but there's also hoaxes and misidentifications that have that are covered in here in their own chapter. In that there may have been those hoaxes and misidentifications that occurred, and also possibly newspapers attempting to get better coverage or get better press. There could have been newspaper hoaxes and newspaper misidentifications and things like that. And the thing is, newspapers were known to sometimes put hoax stories in their papers, in their publications. And back in those days, back in the 1850s, 1800s, sometimes they would offer rewards for the capture of these wild men or gorillas, or these mountain devils. Those were three of the code names that were kind of given to Sasquatch-type creatures. They weren't called Bigfoot back then, obviously. They were called wild men. They were called wild men or gorillas, mountain devils, apes. They were called apes, giant apes. But yeah, this book covers it pretty much runs the gamut as far as reports from different states. Some states are covered, as I said, with only a few paragraphs. Some states are covered with like one page because there's like one historical report. But there are others that have. There are some of the stories have had multiple newspaper accounts, or multiple newspaper stories that were involved in the process, as it were. Then there's an appendix, which is a chapter from a book, and references as well. There's references section. There's references section. Some of the reference points include from Janet and Colin Board's book, Bigfoot Casebook, updated. Bigfoot on the East Coast by Rick Berry, which is a very rare book. Monsters of the North Woods by Paul Bartholomew and his brother Robert Bartholomew. Also, Bill Brand and Bruce Hallenbeck. Peter Burns' book is Peter Burns' book is also referenced. Lauren Coleman, Ray Crow, John Green, Mark A. Hall, Don Hunter, Renee DeHenden, Don Keating, Grover Krantz. There's several references. Certainly, Chad Arment did his homework as far as on this book. And he really did a great job as far as encapsulating different reports from different states. Generally, the stories he covers may go up to about the 1940s. He doesn't cover anything after, I guess, the 1940s. Which would indicate, well, it doesn't mean that there were no reports after that. It just means that he decided to establish a perimeter of what he was going to cover. But it's a fascinating book. Fascinating book, and I think it's a really great resource. I think it's a great resource. I do recommend it if you can get a hold of it. It's available through Coachwhip books. So yeah, I do recommend getting it. It's a great book.